Is this a photograph of Queen Victoria feeding a giant taco to a dinosaur? That and more coming up. This is the famous British explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton. In 1914, he and his crew of the Endurance set out for Antarctica. In 1915, they got stuck in the ice. A little bit later, their ship got crushed by the ice. To make a really long story short, they all survived and made it back to jolly old England, where they lived happily ever after. Except for some of the crew who later died in World War I. Well, back to a happier picture. Okay, there's a line from The Truman Show, the movie, where the character who plays the director says, and I quote, "We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that." End quote. Now here's a picture that's supposed to be 101 years old from the Imperial Trans Antarctic Expedition. The expedition was from 1914 through 1917, and this picture was taken in 1915 of the ship stuck in the ice. The description, which will be on the title page of this picture, and a link to it, will tell you that this picture was taken at night with the use of flashlights. Okay. So let's take a closer look at this picture. This is the original picture, and we will also look at an enhancement. So let's just take a look, shall we? There's the frozen ship, the Endurance. There's the bow, there's the masts, and let's take a closer look. That looks just like big old chunks of ice, right? Well, maybe things aren't as they just, well, seem. Let's look at this. That black thing, that looks like a rock or something, right? Well, let's take a closer look. I don't want to get in too, I'll get in a little close at first and then I'll back out. But this looks to me like a conglomeration of faces put together in a little line with some shapes to it. I am pretty amazed that it's in a picture as old as this, but this is very reminiscent of the things I find in the NASA Mars and Moon pictures. Are these the predecessors to those pictures? And where I'm headed with this is, I'll just get to the point. There's been a lot of videos out lately about the flat Earth. If the Earth was flat, there wouldn't be an Antarctic continent. So the question is, in this video, are they trying to fake Antarctica, or what are they trying to do here? Now, again, this is the original picture, and the next enhancement coming up will be very interesting. Okay. Now, so there's that, and that's interesting unto itself. Let's go through the enhancement, shall we? Here we go. Now, As in the many of my Moon and Mars videos, I've inverted the picture. I've just flipped it around to a mirror image, and I'll show you why, because things make a little more sense. Now let's go back. Now, because of this enhancement, some things are darker in this enhancement than in the first picture, so I can bring out other detail. So let's just get to work here. There's a lot of strange things in this, and I think there are things in this picture, I will enlarge this also, that are just, there's a joke to somebody. Now, you see this? This is one of the first things I saw in the plane picture, but if you look at the time frame, now this is a little bit past Queen Victoria's time, but not too far past. So maybe people who would be making a fake picture like this would think it was funny to put in a profile pic of Queen Victoria. Now there's her face and her kind of big chin, and there's her little white cap she wears, and there's her black outfit because she's in mourning because Prince Albert died. Okay, now I'm just saying this, it looks like this, but maybe it's not meant to be this. But if you look above her, does that look like she's holding a giant taco and a dinosaur is eating it? There's his eye, there's his little taco eating mouth, and he's just munching away on Queen Victoria's giant taco. Take that any way you want it. Moving on. Let's go over here. As you know, I say I find things that seem anti-Semitic, and this is again from the early 1900s, and maybe it's a misinterpretation of the picture, but I find many things that look like a caricature excuse me, of oh my gosh, I'm dying here. Okay, I'm better. Of what would look like a Jewish person with the long nose, and there's an eye and hat. And is that again, are these Hebrew? Is this a Hebrew letter of some sort? If you're a Hebrew letter expert, let me know. Moving on. Let's go over here. Now the reason I've inverted this, and there's another area also, but when I did the enhancement and I lighten things up, lettering starts to come out in strange places. And I think you can see this pretty clearly. Let me stop. Hang on a second. Let me get this refraction out of the way here. Okay. Where is it? You can see like a little character right there. Still, let me back out some here. You can still see this. You see this lettering here, a little character here. Looks like a 30, possibly. Looks like a little face up here in the corner. And we'll just leave it at that. But that's there. And I don't think this would actually be in Antarctica. If you don't say Antarctica a lot, it's kind of easy to say Antarctica. That's not, just not proper. Now let's go over here. Again, this is an inversion. And let's look on the bow here. There's something interesting. There's a lot of interesting things up here. But I'm maintaining that this is a made-up picture. That's the message I'm trying to get through here. But they're sure trying to put put out the information that this is an actual photograph. Okay, this up here, now that might be something that would be on a ship of the time, kind of a pointed looking thing of some sort. Here's another pointed looking thing of some sort. If you had a vivid imagination, which people say I do, well, you have to let your imagination go places on things like this, because ordinary explanations don't usually work in a lot of this. Is that a little spaceship? Is that supposed to represent a little spaceship? Are these representations of possibly the people or the inhabitants of the outer ring of the flat Earth? Are they the guardians? Are they the caretakers? Now this is also interesting here, and I've tried to clear this up, but just this little area right here doesn't make a lot of sense. It might be clearer on the HD presentation, but there's that. Looks like a little Star of David right there, where I'm pointing at. Go dead center here. We also have like a little dancing character in the center. Who's that little guy peeking out at us? Over here, it's kind of odd. Now, do you see a little serpent-looking head, and maybe, I don't know, someone poking at him, or I don't know what that is, but that looks very serpent-like. Take a look at this. Again, we have more lettering and symbolism down here. Looks like an R, maybe a Y or a T. There's a little person there. Okay, now here's another area with lettering. I have to find it here. And this is supposed to look like a chunk of ice in the original picture. Hang on a second. We'll leave it right there. And as you can see, this is lettering. That looks like a J and a K. There's a little profile of somebody right there. If you can see, kind of like these upturned eyes, like someone's rolling their eyes. In the middle of that. And we're going to make that a little bit bigger. And take a closer look at it. Okay. There it is. And the only explanation that sounds valid to me at the moment is they're trying to create a reality that seems believable. It's very believable. You could go to the Antarctic and get stuck in the ice and make it out. Now, this is not the only picture that leads me to this conclusion. But this is a good one to start with. And there's many more from many eras that are like this one. But this, the more you look at it, the more it's a fake little model ship with these little, oh, that's cool. I just saw him. Look at that guy. How would you like that to come after you while you're stuck in the ice? Okay. Well, this was an interesting video to work on. It's kind of a not too far of a departure from what I do, but it's certainly within the realm of what I do. There's a little guy down there. What are they doing? And for everybody who doesn't look at my videos or watch my videos much, I cannot just do screen enlargements and bring this stuff out. This camera I'm using actually brings things on the screen into better focus. It's just how it works. So let's go back to that original photo. We'll leave off with it. And there will be more coming. There's pictures from many expeditions. The early expeditions are very fun to look at. And from Admiral Byrd also. But that isn't, I just don't think that's what you're going to just see down in Antarctica. Nope, it's not. Unless they're all out. Maybe they're out there playing in the snow with a devil dog on the far end there. Okay, well, I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching. This is Roger in Kansas City. And I'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.